Chainlink Friday, that's today. Welcome in. We've got our Sergey threads on. Thank you, Dirk. You know who you are. We got our Chainlink sign on. We're ready to go, right? We're doing our Sergey rain dance. We got all the proper requirements. Now we just need the chart to start performing. So in this video today, we're going to look at the weekly chart. We're going to look at the 5-day Gaussian channel. We'll look at the daily chart. We're going to look at some levels that we need to be watching for. We're going to give our kind of general thoughts for the market as a whole. We're going to look at Bitcoin briefly, maybe, if I remember. Let's get right to it. So starting off on the weekly chart. Where are we at? Let's zoom in here, right? We got our Bollinger Bands on. We got all our moving averages. So what are we looking like? Besides a hell of a downtrend since last May, right? So what are we trying to do? We're trying to find a floor. Have we found it yet? We don't know. So what happens if we start to break down, right? You can see the Bollinger Band starting to open. As at the same time, we're underneath all the moving averages. We're closing down. We had a little false breakout when Bitcoin had its little move up, right? We kind of double topped with the previous local top, and now we're moving back down. So on the weekly chart, we have one candle, two candles, both confirmed close under our EMA 8. So I would recommend using the EMA 8 for your charting needs. When you're below that, it's simply more bearish than that. Okay, so you'd like to hold that, your 21 in the yellow here, your 21 week EMA, and not only that, but your Bollinger Bands. When you're in this lower section of the Bollinger Bands on any time scale, you can use on the hourly, the daily, whatever. You should be leaning more bearish, and you're in the top section, you should be leaning more bullish. And so on the weekly scale, the big picture, we've been more bearish than not for months now, right? Going back to even November when we broke down in here. So we're closing two candles under our last moving average, the EMA 8. At the same time, the bottom Bollinger Band is opening. These are not great looking signs, okay? Big picture, sure, where I think Chainlink will have its day. We're obviously big fans of Chainlink. We're wearing Sergey shirts. We got neon signs. But for the short term, right? Who cares, right? You should be worrying about your portfolio. And we're going to get, like I said, more into that. What I think, as a general market, you should be looking at the big picture, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. So the weekly, we don't know where the bottom is. It's trying to form here around this $12. If we lose 12, you got to look way left. Do we have any more support? We got maybe some around this $9, $10 area. See these local tops here? There's 8. So somewhere between 8 to 10, we better hope for a bottom. You can see this wick. How about this wick? This low, 872. So I'd say somewhere between 8 to 10 if, we start to downtrend a little bit more, or if Bitcoin somehow manages to go back to, mid 30s or to low 30s, right? Something like that. Or if Bitcoin kicks the bucket anywhere down, you need to be watching for this level. If we lose that, I mean, you got to look at support resistance levels, right? The next level is right there in black and white, $5. Just based on the chart, right? Not what Chase says, not what any cousin Frodo says. The charts say, 8 to 10. If you lose that, 5, right? That's what we're looking at. And I only see that anticipate that happening if, Bitcoin, moves down to, abrupt move down to 35, 30K, something like that. Okay, so those are big ifs and big asterisks. Okay, let's go look at the 5-day Gaussian and let's see what we got, right? Let's get it on there first. All right, we've turned red. What does that mean? Well, it's just you should be leaning more tar pit, mud pit, more bearish, right? If it turns red, you're simply bearish. We're under the 5-day Gaussian. So is it a good time to be accumulating? Yes. Is it a good time to be going all in? Probably not, right? Because say we're 13 now. What happens if we do go to the 8 or 5 or 10, right? Those are substantial drops. If we go down to 10, I mean, you're looking at another 25% down here. If you go down to the 8 level, I mean, just look at these numbers, right? These are real numbers. 40%. If you go down to 5, I mean, you're looking at 60% additional to what we're already at now. So these should be warning signs going off in your head, right? There should certainly be less, more risk off at this point. And I'll prove that point to you with Bitcoin here in just a moment. So we're red on the 5-day Gaussian. We're underneath the 5-day Gaussian. You know, long term, these are great accumulation spots to start the DCA. Not to be going all in, because you don't know where the bottom is going to be once you're under here. Now, this is a good zone to be, you know, dollar cost averaging, but you want to be watching Bitcoin because it's the market mover. You know that by now. You should know that by now. If it goes to 35K or 30K in, you know, a couple weeks or something like that, make no mistake, altcoins will get absolutely hammered. So remember those moving, those down numbers, right? It was like 25% to 10, 40% to 8, and 60% to 5, okay? Those are real possibilities. Not saying they're going to happen, but you need to have those in the back of your mind just in case, okay? Now, if you're a long-term holder and you're like, I don't care what happens in the next 6 months, I'm just looking for Chainlink to be $1,000 in 3 years from now, okay, then just stop watching here and go grab your chips, okay? Let's go look at the daily chart and see what the Gaussian channel says there. Now, on the positive side of the intermediate, we're the green on the daily. However, I don't really like to use the Gaussian on the daily because you can see it flips back and forth quite often. So let's go ahead and take that off. Right there. There we go. And now let's see what we got here. So what I do like is that we're trying to form a rough, like I said, a rough low support, floor support. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Any kind of coin, you want to look for, you know, kind of multiple bites at the apple, so to speak, at separate time frames. So looking here, we have one wick here, we have a couple more here, but we don't really have anything here. So maybe we get, you know, one more kind of move down here and then hold kind of right in here. That would be great, right? If we lose that and start closing under this, you have to anticipate going, you know, back to those other levels, 10 to 8, or even 5 if you lose the 8 level, okay? So this is the floor. It doesn't mean you can't go through it, but there's a lot of coins that have, you know, a touch point even back here. There's a coin, you know, another touch point here, another touch point here, another touch point here. Those are more solid. You want more touch points. The most touch points you have, the more touch points you have, the stronger that level will be. We have a couple here. So it is stronger than one, obviously, but it's not a super base because it's really just kind of this general area. I would love to have seen like another touch point here, another touch point here, right? You want to look for wide open, you know, to build this base level. And it doesn't mean that you can't go through it. It's just less likely, right? So, you know, Link right now, it's just, I mean, on every single chart, and it's not just Link, right? It's every altcoin right now is looking very similar to this. You're under your 8-week EMA, you're under 8-day EMA, a lot of MAs. Let me just look at it. We had this kind of move up, this kind of a fake out up across the board, not just Chainlink, everything, and then now we're back down. So these are difficult to trade. I certainly don't recommend day trading unless you have years of, you know, profitable success and you got, you know, just a small bag to trade and mess around with. This is so hard to trade. Just chop, right? Up, down, sideways, up, down, sideways, right? Rinse and repeat. So waiting for, you know, trends to confirm is the best way. So when would we turn more bullish? You want to be above all your moving averages before you're more risk on any coin, not just Chainlink. So on the daily is kind of where I generally start. You can go to the hourly or the 4-hour, sure. But, you know, until you're above your 21, your 8, I'd recommend being in the top of your Bollinger Band section before you get more buying. There's plenty of upside if you get up in here and you start crossing the moving averages back up. You got plenty of upside. So that's how you should be trading. You should never be buying and going super long and risk all in when you're in a, you know, under all your moving averages, the bottom section of your Bollinger Bands, right? And you're in a downtrend, right? For the past, you know, several days, right? Downtrend. Or you can zoom out and downtrend, right? You should not be going massive long and massive downtrends underneath all your moving averages. That should make perfect sense to you. If it doesn't, you need to exit now and learn a little bit more, okay? This is just how it works. You don't massive long into downtrends underneath moving averages as Bitcoin is starting to look more bearish, right? And what do I mean by that? We can go check that out real quick. briefly. If you're still with me, I applaud you. Okay, so I've talked about this before in our Patreon group, the Telegram group. Join the Telegram. It's free below. I try to update a little bit, but the Patreon is paid. You get a lot more content there if you're interested. No pressure. Okay, so what do we have? We have this downtrend since November, and then we have this slight uptrend, right? So I'm going to loosely draw this, right? Look at this downtrend, right? And then you have this slight uptrend, right? So look at that, right? What does that look like? Maybe nothing to you. And so if that's true, that's okay. We're going to discuss what this is in a moment. So looking at this, does it look like anything? Maybe not. So what about if you flip it like this? How does that look? Does that look more like a bull flag to you? It does to me. And it should, because it's pretty close to a textbook bull flag at that point. And what do bull flags do? Bull flags, not always, but more often than not, they break to the upside, right? They break this way, that way. Yeah, that way. Man, we're lagging here. But there we go, that way, right? So bull flags usually break this way more often than not. Obviously, no guarantee. We could go back this way, but you see what I did, right? I inverted the chart. So if you, this is back to normal, right? This is a bearish flag shaping up. You have a downtrend, you slight uptrend, and then you more often than not break that way, right? Inverted looks good. Regular, not good. Just it's helpful to use inverted charts because it can flip your bias, right? Most people are just kind of bull bias, and that's just human emotions, right? Human emotions want number go up, but you need to be looking, a professional trader that does it full time, which is me, right? Full-time traders need to be looking at both sides. You need to be a referee on the field of two teams, the Bulls and the Bears. You need to be looking at the evidence for Bulls, bull evidence for Bears. Whoever has more evidence, that's where you should be leaning. You shouldn't be favoriting, Bulls or Bears ever, right? That's how you're losing money. If you're using it on emotions and saying, it's April, we got to go up now, right? That's what you're talking about. No. Look at the evidence for Bulls and Bears, and then, that's what makes your narrative, not what 47 people tweet on Twitter or Reddit, or what your favorite trader says, or what even I say. Forget what I say, right? Don't forget the good stuff, but do your own research, right? You should be looking at bullish and bearish sides always, every time, for every coin, for every trade, forever, for the rest of your life. You got it. All right, bye flannel. It's getting hot. I'm going to wrap this up, okay? So hopefully that's resonating with you a little bit, and you can see, it wakes you up a little bit more, okay? And I had some comments on the last video. How the hell did I invert the chart? It's real easy. Hold Alt on your keyboard and then I. So if you're watching, you're welcome. Maybe you'll just do this all day, right? It's gonna be fun. All right, let me show you one more thing. If you're still here, we got some more stuff, right? Weekly Bitcoin chart. All right, so we had this move up, but who cares? Look where we are now. You want to be looking at weekly candles, right? Looks very similar to Link, right? One candle closed below EMA 8, all the moving averages. Two candles closed below all moving averages, right? This is a fake out. This is a trap. That's what just happened. The daily chart where we had the symmetrical triangle, the ascending triangle. Let me get to it, right? This let me loosely draw it if you're not familiar, right? We had this happen, right? And then the higher lows, and then we broke out and everyone got excited, right? And myself included, because this is more often than not going to break to the upside and you're good to go to the moon. However, when you come back down, you'll often retest this level and you should bounce off of that. That's what we were all looking for. Most people are grossly underestimating the bearishness of this failed, 70-day, I think it's about 70-day pattern, right? This is hugely a bearish sentiment. It should be. When you fail a long-term pattern and you confirm it, and we confirmed with this close right here, right? And I said back in this video to, I don't know where I made it. I don't know if I made it YouTube or it was for my Telegram beeps. We had about 48 hours to get back above here. You can't close, multiple days underneath that and not pay the consequences. And we failed to do that. And then look where we are now. And so on the daily, we're underneath our all moving averages. We're in the bottom section of the Bollinger Bands. You should be leaning more bearish than bullish just based on the facts, right? Not what I say, not what your favorite shitcoin trader says, what the chart says, all right? So 1 week down, 2 weeks down. If we close another week down here, it could get rough, bud. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just not what I'm saying. What the charts would be screaming bearish if this closes another week under all these moving averages. Now, on the positive side, if we somehow fake out down and, next week we're up here, great. The odds don't say that, okay? By closing underneath all these moving averages for that'll be 3 weeks in a row. Sunday will be a hugely important close. If we end like this, I mean, do you even need to ask what that candle looks like? That is almost a textbook gravestone doji candle, which, does that sound good? All right, so we'll see. Indecision candle here, long-legged doji at the top. After a bull, that signals exhaustion of the move, and then we flip bear, right? So we didn't know if we were going to continue green, which that would have been great. But instead, the bear slapped us in the face, cut us open, and now they're eating us. Yikes. All right, so that is Link and Bitcoin hybrid video in a nutshell. So hopefully you learned something today. For the 4 of you that are still watching, excellent. I just felt like, I should make a Chainlink video. I haven't made one in a long time, but I'm trying to wait for happier days, but I don't know if they're coming, so might as well get it in while the getting's good. Chainlink, Sergey, go eat a Big Mac, show Sergey your support, and, buy a frog, buy a shirt. Thanks again, Dirk, for the shirt. One of my longtime viewers sent this to me, so I applaud you. Don't send me anything. This is the only thing I'm ever accepting. I couldn't tell him no. All right. I didn't set up the car of the day. What? Just name it. Hey, we could do a couple. I got some on my desk. Yeah, let's just do a bunch of cars. The ones that are on my desk. We got the Performante Lamborghini without Lambo doors. We got the Ferrari 488. I mean, there's a reason all these are on here. These are ones I would like to have someday in a real garage, not just on my desk. We have Oh, I forgot. I got a new one since I made a video. So if you're still watching, for the one of you that's still watching, let me know. I got this huge, you can see it. I mean, this cost me way too much. This is a lot of links. McLaren P1. This is so detailed. It's got real carbon fiber, real leather seats. I mean, don't even ask how much this was. But it, like the spoiler goes up and down. I mean, it is to the T's exactly like the real one. The hood open. I'm scared to even touch it. Look, the hood up. It's got real shocks. The shocks actually act like the doors. You can see inside this thing. It's nuts detailed. I wish I could do a close up. But yeah, I'm scared holding this because it was a lot. But I didn't have McLaren P1 and the little ones, so I figured I might as well just go all out and get the king of McLarens, P1. All right. So that's the car of the day, bunch of cars of the day. Oh, I wanted to Cybertruck. You got to throw that guy in there. He's coming. It's confirmed. Next year, that will definitely be in my driveway. I've had that reserved for only a couple years now. All right. I'll end it there. Thanks. Watch out. Bitcoin's dropping as we speak. 39.5. Be safe. I'm telling you, you can buy back in later. I've already exited most of my positions. If you're watching this long, then now you know. So I'll talk to you real soon. Bear markets are for survival. Don't let the bears eat your brains. They're eating people right now. You're sitting here watching and your brains are getting eaten right in front of you. Look at the price dropping. We're sitting here and a lot of people are losing a lot of money. So it's sad. Getting eaten by bears and losing money. Happy Friday. I'll be traveling this weekend, so probably no more videos. That's not a shocker. I mean, this is the first video I've made in a long time on Link. But there's a reason, right? It's just 14 people will watch this video. One of you, there's nobody watching at this point. Just talking to myself, watching prices drop, looking around. I'll end it here. I just felt like rambling a little bit today. 20 minutes, trying to get right on it. We hit it. 20 minutes. Goodbye.